Unfortunately, we are no strangers to mass shootings in Colorado, and because one of the worst ones, the Sandy Hook shooting in December of 2012, National Stop the Blood Month is now an important event. So it is a push to teach people how to control bleeding from serious injuries. And joining us now to talk about Stop the Bleed is Melanie Wizzardo, the Director of Injury Prevention at Swedish Medical Center. And Melanie, Stop the Bleed is in its fourth year. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Right. So Stop the Bleed is a collaboration led by the American College of Surgeons. And it really started in the wake of the Sandy Hook shooting that happened in 2012, where there were 20 child casualties and 8 adult casualties. And what they ended up finding in the autopsy results was that most of the victims were died as a result of severe bleeding.
Yeah, and I know many of us don't, when we think about a tragic event, we don't think about necessarily blood loss and those severe injuries. Why is it important to know what to do in that moment?
It's really important to know what to do because bleeding is the #1 preventable injury from a trauma. And once bleeding starts, a severe bleed, it can cause a death within minutes, really.
Absolutely. And if someone is bleeding, there's 3 skills to use. Can you please explain those and walk us through them?
Yeah, so once you know that a severe uncontrolled bleed is happening, there's 3 skills that you can learn that you can really possibly save a life. So the first one that I want to go over is just pressure. Okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit here, and this is just a fake leg, so please don't be concerned. And we would just take gauze or any clean fabric, apply it to the wound, and hold pressure. Now, ideally, I'm going to have my arms extended and putting my body weight over and put the palms of my hands down on it. And the second one is going to be packing, which is where I take, again, gauze or any clean fabric that you have and go ahead and actually pack the wound. I know it's a little graphic, but this is unforeseen circumstances that you're making the best with what you have, okay? Once I've packed as deep as I can, I'm going to go to that pressure stance and say there is continued uncontrolled bleeding. That's when we're going to go into a tourniquet use. And this, you can skip all that and go straight to this if we have a loss of a limb, amputation type of situation. And to apply a tourniquet, it's really some basic steps. The first is identifying where the actual entry wound is. And then we're going to go 2 to 3 inches above that wound. You can use your fingers to measure 2 to 3 finger widths, okay? So if my wound is right here, 2 to 3 finger widths, I'm going to tighten and put the Velcro on. This little thing is called a windlass, and I'm going to twirl this and tighten it, okay, until the bleeding stops. I'm going to hook it in, write the time that I applied this, and then a big important thing is we wait, okay? We don't take this off. We wait for help to come, and then they'll know what the next steps are to do. We cannot apply a tourniquet on a joint or the neck or the trunk area. It needs to be on a limb, okay? So most important is don't take this off once it's on, because that's just gonna get bleeding started again.
It's great to see that and kind of teach us how the steps is so important. Is there anything we haven't covered that you want our viewers to know about?
Yeah, I just want to let you all know, if you want more information, you could go to stopthebleed.org for more information. And if you do decide to invest in a tourniquet, make sure you're getting one that is appropriate. Cat tourniquets are good ones to use.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Melanie, for taking the time to talk about this. We know it's super important, so we really appreciate it. And we'll be right back.